What's up, what's happening? It's yours truly, Javon Freeman, back with another one. Add me on Instagram at vb.o.m.experience. Hit the like, comment, share, subscribe, even hit a dislike. And don't be afraid to use the Cash App. We accept gifts and donations over here. I think this is going to be a good one. I do rock with Valuetainment, PBD. Um, this is a short segment from what I'm assuming is a much longer interview with the Valuetainment team, PBD specifically. This is a speaker from the title, which I'm reading, Ian Bremerman, I believe his full name is. This is about Klaus Schwab. I don't really care for the Klaus Schwab guy, but let's see what they got to say and whatnot. And listen, the whole point of this is to be able to observe what's happening, not just listen to the conversation, but to hear what's being said, apply it to what is happening in the world, and then try to understand the energetic meaning behind all of it, whether people see it as right or not. There is a general framework that we can operate within, which always gets you to, or at least leads you in a proper direction per se. Let's get into this.
Let's go to World Economic Forum and Davos. I was invited there this year. Okay,
Yeah.
Couldn't go. We had stuff going on.
Yeah.
And if I were to go, I would have to have the conversation to see what it is. I'm not going to, But
Yeah.
anyways, they extended an invitation. Nice of them. Fellow, he had a call with my EA and my couple guys. It was good to go.
Yeah.
Klaus Schwab, I ask you, is he a good guy? I didn't say that. You said, I didn't say that, right? Is he a good guy or not? World Economic Forum, okay? Good organization, bad organization, what's the motive? You saw some of the stuff on the website. They put some stuff that's kind of suspect. You want us to do what? You're going to own nothing and be happy? Weird things that they talked about. Some of the messages that come.
Klaus Schwab, yeah. Okay, so this is clearly referring to that. Okay, World Economic Forum, definitely for sure. I'm well aware of it. Meeting takes place in Switzerland. Richest of the richest people go. And I want to see where this is really going. I really want to see. We're gonna hold on here. Because we want to give people a chance to say what they got to say and then make a full assessment afterwards. We actually actively listen and critically think, remove all the emotions from it, and analyze what is being said. Again, this is a much shorter segment, but PBD does a good job at transitioning and making the segments very clear. Shout out to Patrick David and the Valuetainment team. They do what they do very well.
Comes out.
Now here's an issue that I know a lot about.
Perfect, and I want to hear it. Why do you think a lot of people who maybe sided with Trump don't trust the World Economic Forum?
Because it's a conference every year in Switzerland, not in the United States, with a lot of very wealthy and powerful people that are getting together. A lot of them are flying in on their private planes. And it's very easy to imagine that when you do that, they must be controlling the world. And, all you need is to get a quick video and take something out that, sort of says the Great Reset, or says we want you to eat bugs, or whatever it is that's crazy and stupid. And that suddenly becomes the meme for what they're actually discussing. I've gone for 15 years. They have 600 employees. I think they make $400 million a year. I can assure you that no running of the world is being done by the World Economic Forum. The reason...
Okay, let's just stop there. For starters, we definitely profile over here at Consultant Freeman Services. Profiling works very well. The police profile, Secret Service profile. Remember the interview with Kim Cheadle? I think that was her name. I think I was saying it wrong, but she was the director of the FBI, and when she was being questioned, was it by the Senate or Congress? In the interview or in the hearing, she said it. Yes, there is race-based training. So what that basically means is, depending on your race, there are certain parameters that officers are trained to operate under to assess or assume threat level. So it's So okay, let's put it like this: white guy versus Indian guy. You're going to assume based off of your race-based training, and this is Secret Service, right? They made this clear. I'll probably look back for the clip some other time. But basically, what that means is you would assume that the Indian guy or the or not say Indian, let's say Muslim man would then be a terrorist, for lack of better terminology and whatnot. Now that doesn't mean that white men, new melanated people can't be terrorists. Anybody could be a terrorist, but race-based training, that's their practices. Profiling. We profile over here. The first profiling thing I want to make is if you're this guy attending a $400 million event, why on a regular day your shirt is shorter than your suit jacket length, even if it's a blazer? So what that tells me is that that's a front. You're not the type of guy to wear suit jackets. You don't put the effort into it. That says a lot. Second, when you vouch for people to that degree, knowing for a fact, if you're as smart as you are, then you more than likely would know. And if you don't, says a lot about you. But a thinking person knows people with money do have control and power. Let's take America, for example. This is not um, alleged. We know for a fact that if you have money, you can influence certain people in politics to pass certain laws before they would pass a law for the general body of people. That is a fact. That is based off of statistics. You have a higher chance of getting a law passed in favor of what you want if you're a financial donor. That's not conspiracy. That is what we see to happen. So when you sit there and say, hold on, we have all the richest and wealthiest people in the world conveniently joining together to talk about things to do in the world and planning together, and you're vouching going this hard saying, I can assure you this is not happening, and your suit jacket looks like that. Look, I mean, look at the wrist around his suit check. It's down here, and it looks like this, and you still can't even see the shirt underneath.
And they are successful. And the reason that you should probably go, and you would find this out for yourself, and then you could tell everybody exactly what I'm now telling you, is that the most busy people in the world, for whom time is a very precious commodity, can get 5 weeks of work done in 5 days. And that is what they do, because they are able to get their bilaterals all set up with every other business leader in their sector, in related sectors, all these government leaders. They will not take a meeting unless that meeting will get something done. If I go to London and I haven't been to London in 6 months and I want to see someone, even if I have no business, I'll say, yeah, Ian's here. Yeah, I'll see Ian for an hour. And there might be nothing to get done in that meeting. You will not take a meeting at the World Economic Forum because it's such a target-rich environment unless you have something concrete that you want to get done in that meeting. So number one, everyone is there. Number two, almost every meeting is productive. And number three, you are filling your time with people that you really want to see. For CEOs who work and finance and foreign ministers whose time is incredibly, incredibly valuable, this is the most target-rich environment, the most productive environment they could possibly have, and that's why they go. And that's why it's successful. And everything else, and the memes that you see about what the W.E.F is driving in terms of some of the research papers they put out, that's like window dressing that shows that they have like some stuff to talk about in content, but that's not why the W.E.F works. No, zero. No, you should not at all buy that. You should not.
Well, so you're saying that they cut a clip of what he's saying to eat bugs and do all this stuff? No, like
I've never eaten a bug at Douglas.
I have. I ate it in Mexico,
and I had a
Quintanilla.
Yeah. Is that where you went?
Let me tell you,
that was great.
I had
3 courses with bugs.
It was insane.
It was good.
I actually liked it.
I mean, if you were eating bugs like that, you would eat bugs. But
if I'm going to eat it, I'm going to eat Mexican bugs.
Yeah.
By choice with the best hot.
I'll be honest, I might try eating a bug if that thing was cooked right. I mean, I've eaten an ant before, but I was a kid. Yeah. I mean, like, intentionally, as a grown adult, eating bugs, spending money to eat bugs. It can't be a spider. It's just not my thing. But it would have to be cooked nice. It gotta be seasoned. Might have to have like some caramelized gravy sauce, something. It gotta be right. It can't taste like bug. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. But these guys got too much money to play with. I'm just saying, 3-course meals are just bugs. But then again, I would try one. Who knows?
hot sauce and all that other stuff.
Were you
But
seated were you at the kitchen bar there?
listen, it was the most amazing experience.
Amazing meal.
Food,
4 hours.
everything they brought, it was ridiculous,
Yeah.
right? But like if you see,
You sound like a globalist. I don't know. I'm a little concerned, Pat.
you're so funny.
I swear to God.
But if you see,
Nice suit.
if you see a person getting up there and they give a message, and this guy's up there talking about the Great Reset and all this other stuff.
I know.
And what's his role with the World Economic Forum? Is he the director? He gave, I think
he's executive chairman or something.
Wait, who's
now.
about to? Harari's about to take his position. I think he's going to pass it over to him sometime soon, right?
Yuval Harari?
Yeah.
No.
No?
No.
Maybe you haven't read this article. There was an article that said Yuval Harari. Let me find this here. Klaus Schwab.
I think if that was in an article, I think it's wrong.
Yeah, Yuval Harari is his right-hand guy.
No, he's not.
Well, listen, these are articles saying it's his right-hand guy.
I'm telling you, it's not his right-hand guy. He wasn't even there this year.
Are you his right-hand guy? Who's it?
What the fuck are you
Who's his
talking about?
right-hand guy?
His name is Børge Brende, and he's a former foreign minister in the Nordics, and he's a perfectly affable, smart guy. When he was foreign minister, he was very well respected by all of the other leaders in the region, and he's good at coordinating these meetings. And no, I mean I think you misread that.
I don't think I misread that.
I do, because it's not showing up, man. I'm telling you, I'm looking at you
I'll
right
find
now.
it for you. I will find
Yeah.
it for you.
Yuval Harari doesn't even I know him well, and he's not someone that's going to take over the WEF.
Okay, hang on. I'm going to find it for you before we
Okay,
wrap
fine.
this up, and then
Yeah.
you can say it's not true or it's inaccurate or whatever.
Yeah.
But if you see Klaus Schwab
Yeah.
getting up there and talking about we need a reset, great reset.
Every year, they try to come up with some interesting ideas
Yeah.
about where they think the world is or isn't going, and it's absolutely talked about because they have a big forum.
Okay.
Is it?
All right, hold on. So, because we gonna let him talk, but we listen. Let's critically think about this. He already admitted the wealthiest and powerful people. Now they're convening, they're conjoining, they're getting business done, but the business is based off of where they think the world is headed, of course. Wouldn't your business be predicated? Now, if your business is predicated off of where you think the world is headed, you would try to get ahead of it. I mean, I would. And if that means putting myself in position, leveraging my position, or leveraging assets, people, connections, I guess the question is, what's the intent behind it? Is it a positive intent, a negative intent?
Talked about more than what someone would say at the UN General Assembly.
And you got to remember too, we have these conversations to protect the average person. The average person isn't taking the time to sit and listen to these people talk, to hear these conversations and to analyze and to see what's going on. The average person is getting up, going to work, paying bills, trying to seek their pleasure, trying to fill their belly, trying to excrement their waste, and call it a day and start all over. They're not trying to be stressed out with these types of conversations, thought patterns, or even the idea or possibility that somebody's pulling the strings. But the reason why we do this is because we understand if you have the ability to do for others in a positive manner, to enlighten the path for others, or illuminate the path for others, then it's almost a duty to do so. Now, granted, at the same time, your average person makes the choice to be average. So I get where the confliction comes from. I genuinely get where the confliction comes from. Yet at the same time, A person choosing to be average could be circumstantial. What is average to any given person? I'm average in my opinion. However, I know for a fact to a lot of other people, I am not average. And I say that humbly, but that's the reality of the world. So you can sit there and say, well, why don't they do what they can to get more power, resources, and things of that nature? A lot of people were born into a world that was already set up like this. Majority of us was. Some people were born into situations where, as children, they had power. They were able to dictate to grown adults what was going to happen, what they were going to do, and had the power to stop whether they were going to feed their family or not. So, again, these are the questions you should be asking. At some point, these questions will allow you to find answers that will at least lead you in the right direction. Even if these answers aren't permanent answers, they're enough of an answer to at least say, go here for 10 steps. Go this way for 10 steps, or 5 steps, or 20, 15, or even half a step. You might have to turn back around and then go back in the direction you went because it was all off of timing. So let's get back into this.
Assembly every year or at a NATO summit or anything else. No, I mean it's the fact is that the business of the WEF is as I've just described it to you. But again, I understand that in an environment where people are doing their own research, there are people that are making up stuff wholesale, and they'll take a tiny clip of something and they'll make it into more than it actually is. It just is not.
I'm going to play you a clip by this guy. Just can you find one clip of him?
Of Klaus?
Yeah, of Klaus. And you tell me if this sounds normal to you.
You mean his accent?
Not his accent. I mean,
You
his
wanna try
accent, he
Kissinger
sounds
too?
like,
I mean, you know.
sounds like, well, Kissinger had his own set of issues as well. I'm not going to
Different issues, yeah.
tell you Kissinger was an angel. Kissinger could be a reason why you and I are sitting here right now. Because if it wasn't for Kissinger, I may still be in Iran today. I may be in a different situation.
It's possible.
Because of the promises they made to help out the Shah, which last minute they didn't, which I'm sure you know the history of that.
Yeah.
But why do you think? Why do you think they don't trust it? Why do you think they don't trust Klaus Schwab? Why do you think they think he's evil? Why do you think when you're, the amount of when they see him as a person, you think it's just the clips that are doing that? You think he doesn't have any other motives? You think when you
I think it's all the wealthy people showing up in a mountain in Switzerland.
When you write a book, how long does it take you to write a book?
A year and a half, 2 years.
A year and a half. So when all of a sudden COVID happens in March of 2020, where it becomes public, how does Klaus write such a book so fast that comes out in July 4 months later? I've never written a book that fast. I don't know if you remember the dates. So here's the COVID-19, the Great Reset.
He's got about 600 people.
But
How many
hang on a
people
second.
working with him?
I got a lot of people working for me. So his book
I
is
remember
July
that.
9th,
Yeah.
2020. COVID is a thing in March.
Yeah.
You just said it takes a year and a half to write a
Terry
book.
Mallory, I remember Terry. It takes me a year and a half because I have a goddamn day job. It's really hard. I have to find time to actually do it in between everything else that I do. It's hard. People that write books for a living, of whom Terry Mallory, who's the second author there, that is what he does. He's a global strategist who writes books and thought pieces for a living. And I am certain that he did a hell of a lot of lifting there. And can you get that done? It also was a relatively short book, if I remember correctly. It was like 120 pages. It wasn't
280 pages.
No, it was not.
Print length, 280.
Was it really? 280?
Right there. You got to get
Let's
your
look at the
facts right.
font.
You're spending
Let's
too
look at
much
the
time
font.
with it.
Yeah.
You got to look at the font.
Go screw yourself, man. I swear to God. I swear to God. But the idea, if you're basing this theory on the fact that he got a book done in 4 months with a guy that writes books
That's a
professionally
little
for a
weird.
living, I don't
listen,
buy it.
I can ask a question and say that's a little weird. You don't think that's a little weird?
No.
Really? You don't think that's a
Jesus
little weird?
Christ, man.
That's a little weird. And here's the thing. This is where profiling comes back in. He's doing a good job at being too comfortable. You're being too relatable. You mean to tell me you go to these events too? And you're this relatable, but yet you're not detailed oriented enough to have an accurate suit jacket or blazer where your undershirt, your button up white shirt, is at a longer length than your jacket. Again, it seems nuanced. But there's like these things tell you about people. Like, okay, for example, there's a difference between somebody that gets a tattoo on their abdomen and somebody that puts a tattoo on their face. There's a different psychology behind it. There's a difference between somebody that cuts their hair and somebody that grows their hair long. There's a psychology behind it. There's somebody that keeps their hair the same color since they were born, and somebody that dyes it, even down to the color in which you dye your hair, says something about your psychology. Aposematism. Everybody expresses it, even me, even I. Nobody is above it. But the difference is those that operate in honesty, operate in truth, and sit there and say, yeah, I ain't perfect. Yes, I've lied in my life. Yes, I've given people the middle finger. No, I'm not perfect. I do my best to be my best me. I ain't gonna sit here and act discomfortable. Now, granted, that's just me. I don't really know this man like that. This is a clip. However, we're profiling. If you're I know how I behave when I'm in events with money and people, and it's people in the event that I want to be at. Once I'm in that behavior, it's real hard for me to be released. And then even when I'm not, if I'm that busy with a day job and all of that stuff, man, again, I'm not that comfortable. I'm not that comfortable. Nope, 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 nope. And shout out PBD. He does a good job of asking his questions. He knows just how to get them in there. He knows how to set it up.
You-
No,
part
I mean,
of-
you're a smart guy.
No, I am-
and
I am a smart guy, and I
don't
ask
go
questions.
off. Don't go into deep zone.
Oh,
deep part of the pool
I think
on this.
okay. So let me go to a different direction with this one.
I'm telling you that if you
Rahm
actually,
Emanuel,
if
Rahm
you next
Emanuel.
year, if you next year say yes to the WEF,
Yeah.
and you go and spend the entire week and actually see all the meetings, you'll come away saying, yeah, it's a conference.
See, and that's the dangerous thing too. A lot of people, it's like it's the experience. You do things one time, it's a slippery slope that you can never recover from. Right? A lot of people did cocaine one time, never recovered. A lot of people did crack one time, never recovered. You go to a rock concert. Yeah, it was a rock concert. Next thing you know, you're not even realizing it. You're down the slippery slope of going to rock concerts. You go to, okay, let's take these boule people, right? These boule people go down the process. Hey, it's just one night, another night, another night, another night, another night. Ooh, an event. Ooh, this. Ooh, girls. This, that, and the third. You're just letting stuff slide on by. Next thing you know, you're on the slippery slope of letting stuff slide on by. You gotta be careful. Always have skepticism, or the principle of the universe. Always take things with a grain of salt.
Rahm Emanuel, you know who he is?
I know him well, yeah.
Okay, he said never let a crisis go to waste.
Yes, he did say that.
Do you think
Always
they
smart.
saw COVID as a crisis to use? Do you think the World Economic Forum maybe saw this as an opportunity to really impose their beliefs around the world? You
A
think
nonprofit organization of 600 people.
Okay, see, this is where they get you. Listen. You mean to tell me all these people that know how to make money have all this power conveniently conjoined together? You think they don't know? I know you don't let a crisis slide by. And I ain't even working right now. Besides this. You mean to tell me they're not thinking of this either? That would blow my mind. I mean, you can say no. You can more than certainly say no. But that's not something I would buy. I wouldn't buy that. How would you expect me to believe that? That's not possible. You're smart enough to get money in everything else you do, but you're not smart enough to not let a crisis slide by. Interesting.
Most of whom last for 2 years and then go on and work someplace else. No,
this
no. People said that about the Council on Foreign Relations. The council is like a tiny, sleepy nonprofit, and why? And who? And they are the most bureaucratic organization. It's so hard to get things done. And
what do we know about bureaucrats and politicians? Backdoor dealings. But hey, choice is yours. Make your own opinion. I just show you how things get done at Consultant Freeman Services and how I've always found success in my life at the things I do. Hey.
And they're nice people, and they're smart people, but they don't run the world. And so the idea, the people that run the world are the people that are worth hundreds of billions of dollars, that are directly in meetings with world leaders where they can actually take real advantage of those meetings because they can put cash into play. Like you and I both know the currency of power in the world is about, do you have capital? And the WEF does not.
You don't have to have capital to have influence or power. Even just the assets you hold, the information, knowledge is power within itself. Why do you think there's a whole industry within governments where they try to get where people get blackmailed, and then you get people to do stuff like movies are made off of this stuff, and that's not theory. It's because whatever happened in real life was then eventually able to be put in a movie, even if it was in a fictional sense. Anything fictional was inspired by something that took place in real life in some way, shape, or form. Now, the degree of fiction or the degree of inspiration might have been shrunken to the ratio of how much fiction is placed into a story. However, there's always a real life inspiration for certain things. Um, Capital is not the only means to power and influence.
They don't. They're convener. They're conveners of events.
Yeah, but you're not a so the insurance industry has an organization called LIMRA. Okay, the guy that was running it was a guy that was very, very powerful in the insurance space. He was a CEO of it.
Yeah.
Okay, what made him powerful? What made him powerful is the fact that every CEO of 40, 50, 100, $200 billion insurance company went to his conference
Yeah.
every year. You know how much power the guy had?
I don't.
A lot of
I'm not
power.
in the insurance industry.
Oh, it's a lot of power, though.
Yeah.
So if you think about this guy is getting all of these leaders like Larry Fink, Jamie Dimon, everybody from around the world is coming to his
They
conference.
all have industry groups that are really, really relevant for them. And if you want to talk about where they're applying and making sure that they're aligning their capital, it's in their industry groups. It's not in the WEF with everybody else. In the WEF, they're meeting with everyone so they can get business done.
That's
It is
of course it wouldn't be in the West. It would have to be in their industry groups, because their industry group is where the actual action is taking place. That's where the work is being done. It's like, okay, it doesn't make sense for you to have all your resources funded into the WEF. What's the WEF going to do? The WEF isn't going to go out into NATO and sit there and say, hey, NATO now works for WEF. No, it doesn't work that way. You may have Bill Gates that goes to WEF, and then you can have, let's just say, hypothetically, Henry Ford that's alive. They all sit in their having their meeting, and this is hypothetical. They're having their meeting. Bill Gates is saying, "Hey, we want to implement AI into your cars," and the next thing you know, it's a slippery slope into governments being able to listen into your conversations while you're sitting in your car. That's not like far off. We have literally the same principle could be applied with our cell phones. We now have AI damn near interlaced in everything. This webcam, which I'm speaking on, has AI sound. So I'm pretty sure that even if the device was off, as long as it's plugged into my laptop and the laptop is on, it's sending an electrical signal in there, and you can almost do like sonar, or not sonar, some form of echolocation through the AI feature, and now you can get placement of where everything is, or even if you're doing frequencies that bounce off of live bodies. It's now okay. An even better example: you'd be talking about your friend about how you want ice cream. You scroll on social media and you start seeing advertisements for ice cream. Right? It's the AI feature, and then the implementation into technology. It's, hey man, look, and a lot of people forget these principles or weren't ever taught these principles. The government and business support the people. The job of government is to make sure that the businesses don't get too big and have too much power. And it's the business's job to make sure that the government doesn't get too much power. And by doing that, the resources have to be funded back into the people. And at the same time, the laws have to be enforced to make sure that the people and the businesses are operating on a decent plane. I'm going to say a fair plane, I'm going to just say a decent plane. And at that same time, the businesses are also making sure that the government is funded and the people are funded, so that way everybody is happy and doing their jobs. And then it creates an ecosystem where everything is feeding into itself. But the people have to be the focal point. like I've always been saying in my videos, please tap in with prior videos. The people at the bottom supporting both business and government, and government and business are in bed together at the top of this pyramid. The goal is to have the people at the top of the pyramid and business and government at the bottom supporting the people, and then it creates an even exchange. But, hey, we're almost through this.
Transactional. It is not strategic. Strategic are where they put money into their packs, they put money into their industry groups and figure out what are the things that move the needle for them so that they have more access to the kind of regulations they want, the kind of taxes they want. That's where that power is being levered. No question.
And the guy that hosts it, that brings everybody together,
Yeah.
who says things like the following. Let me just read this quote to you.
From whom?
Okay. This is the sweetheart of a guy, Klaus.
Oh, yeah,
You'll
thank you.
own nothing and you'll be happy.
I remember that, yeah.
You think that's just normal?
I thought that was an odd quote.
You think that's just odd?
I do. I mean,
Odd is an understatement.
Odd.
That brings all the richest people in
Oh
the
my God! If I look at the people that are driving AI in the world today and what they say about the future, and so the idea that you're going to have digital sovereignty and people are going to upload into the internet.
The guy that's running the whole thing, that's inviting all these guys who sell you'll own nothing and be happy.
Running the whole
that's
thing.
normal.
He's in charge of a conference.
That everybody shows up. Like he's got influence over. Like for example, if a guy hosted a conference that said, "I want the best fighters in the world to show up to my conference," who the F are you? But this guy puts it. All the fighters show up. Why? Guy's got influence.
Look, I mean, if we were to try to find individual quotes that make political leaders that you and I know look batshit crazy and only talk about those things, we could do that. We choose not to.
Yeah.
Why it is that we've decided.
It's not just finding quotes. The issue is when you take a lot of segments and these segments have nothing to do with each other, and majority of these segments are sounding bad. You're slapping the people in the face and saying their intelligence is not intelligence. Like, you can do that for a little bit of time, but you slap somebody in the face enough, they're bound to slap you back. Oh man, and this is why even like you brought up, let's take the tech giants for example. Let's take Elon Musk. After a certain point, we like people like Elon Musk, who has the mental capability to cast his reel into the ocean of creativity, in the technological ocean, in the technological ocean of creativity. And his fishing line goes out further than most. But the issue is you have to remind somebody, even with fishing, you don't want your line to be casted out too far, because you have to be able to reel yourself back in to get it back into reality. Or you'll be casted out so far, you'll become a victim to your own desire. So we're almost there. This is a lot longer than I wanted it to be, but it's all right.
Decided that we're going to key in on this one quote.
Let's go to
I think it's the last
World
4 or 5
Economic
years
Forum
that a lot of people started
and,
looking to see.
Davos. I was
when you make
invited
it
there. I mean, he
this
said
year.
in 2016 couldn't go,
Well,
right? We had stuff going on.
Yeah.
And if I were to go,
Yeah, I had it playing on another situation.
when he said, "You'll own nothing, you'll be happy," and a leader who says you can make a lot of difference. You grab them by XYZ, right? You know, when Trump said that to whatever the Bush guy.
Yes,
right?
of course, on the,
Okay.
on the Access
All right.
Hollywood.
All right.
Yeah,
So what is that? Okay. Got it. Inappropriate.
Sure.
Another guy says, we got to get they send the worst. They send their rapists and criminals and, da-da-da. Oh, my God. Trump just called all these. Hey, they do. I mean, stuff has been said. People have some bad days. You'll own nothing and be happy is a little bit weird.
It's a little bit weird. If you ask me what I think that actually reflects, it reflects a view of a technologically driven, some would say utopian, many more would say dystopian world when human beings are radically different than they are right now. If you ask me, if I look at where AI is driving, sort of humanity, it's not in a place where most people in the world are going to have a lot of control over productive forces. Labor is getting a lot weaker. Do I think people will be happy about that? No, I don't.
I don't think that's true. I highly disagree with that. Where you see labor decimating itself is in the white collar spaces, but we haven't found technology yet that can supplement for human horsepower. Like, don't get me wrong, we have machines that do excavation for us. However, it's the humans that are driving the machines now. You can put technology in it to make the excavation machine remote control, but then after a certain point, I mean, that wouldn't be too bad if it was remote control. But then you want certain things analog because if you can't maintain connection, it no longer works. And if it's too far, you won't get your excavation machine back. So there's there's a balance to everything that must be had. This guy right here, you got to be careful. His profile isn't looking all that decent.
Don't. I think people.
I'll be honest, I think I would have made a great detective. I probably could still go for it, but I don't want to I don't want to be a part of certain situations.
And if they are happy, it's because they're programmed to be happy. I think that everyone says artificial general intelligence is coming. I think that computers are programming us a lot more quickly than we're programming computers. Right? We are affected much more as consumers and products as we engage on this stuff. I think that if you put it in that context, I think you would find that what he said is much more aligned with a lot of your most advanced tech thinkers in the world today, and those are places that we should be pushing back again.
Yeah, maybe let me show you a highlight reel of Klaus Schwab being Tony Robbins here.
I wonder what he means by pushing back against. If he means that and like push back with them or push back against them. But it's very interesting how I just gave the example with Elon Musk, and now he's here saying, "Hey, it sounds like he aligns with one of your tech thinkers." You see how quick the analysis pays off. I'm gonna even keep it a stack with you. I watched a solid 10 minutes of this, and I was like, "Nope, gotta react to it." And I was sitting here saying to myself, "What the heck is that World Economic Forum?" And then when I put it back on, it started to click. I got it. Okay. And even after they was talking about it for 10 minutes, I wasn't really paying attention to it. I was like, all right, it's something to react to because my brain was just firing. Like, how much more proof do you need? I mean, I'm gonna keep going. This is what I do. This is what I do. I'm always be successful. I say that humbly, but yeah, I'm not slowing down. I'm trying to get y'all up to speed because the more people that can do this, the more we all can come together and we all can find success. And then the plateau of success will reach an all-time high that may have never been achieved in human history. Who knows?
Rob, if you got a clip, do you have something you want to show us?
Sure.
Here's Klaus Schwab. Yeah.
This is how to get in shape.
If you want to drop this, start eating more of this.
We don't want any advertisements.
Just happening. The change can be shaped by us. We have to prepare for a more angry world. How to prepare takes the necessary action to create a fairer world. I see the need for a great reset.
So people assume we are just going back to the good old world which we had and everything will be normal again. This is, let's say, fiction. It will not happen.
The change
A little weird.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff he says, it sounds like out of a movie.
Yeah, the accent I think definitely helps with that too.
Even
I
some of
agree.
the stuff that he's saying.
I don't know.
sounds-
I didn't see anything particularly exciting.
You?
honestly.
Nothing. YOLO, nothing.
Exciting?
No.
Look,
nothing.
the
Great
thing about
reset.
me, you said you followed me for a while. I mean, look, I may be a kid from Chelsea. I'm authentic. I will tell you what I think.
I'm actually really enjoying the
I
conversation.
will tell
with
you
so
what I
it's
think.
Not, yeah.
So I mean,
Now, that's one thing I will say. I'm not going to sit here and act like he's not authentic. I do think he is authentic. If we just take him at his own word, okay, let's say you are authentic, and then we put it in with our profile. You are authentically missing screws, humbly speaking. Allegedly, I don't know. I don't truly know, but I'm saying with the profile and with what you're saying. If I'm not going to discredit what you're saying, and then I match it with the profile in which you're showing the world, dog, you might be more of a puppet than you think. I know that doesn't make people comfortable, but you might have to sit back and think about it. Like, these are very complex systems. Dealing with people, oh, I don't think people understand just how evil people can be. Like, oh my gosh. People can be very, very evil. Like, we're very trusting because in America we live in a solid world. We live in a solid nation. But like, I like you just don't know. And it's not to say you should be living in fear, but you don't know how creatively manipulative someone can be. Even your own family. Like, but again, I don't know the guy. I'm not a detective. I'm just taking in the information the same way you are, making an assessment, and then seeing how the world transpires years down the road. Yeah.
Some places you and I clearly agree. Some places you and I have less, let's put it this way, I have less knowledge about a lot of the domestic stuff that you're talking about. I have a lot more knowledge on the international stuff. So if we don't agree, I think it's mostly
Let's
because...
talk tariffs, because tariff is something you do talk
a lot of
about.
work, sure. Yeah,
right?
sure.
Because let's talk tariffs. So nowadays, more than ever...
All right, that was fun. Let me know what you think. This is definitely something that was a brain turner for me. But yeah, tap in with the Instagram at vb.o.m.experience. Put a like down or dislike, comment, certainly subscribe. I really do believe that it's worth it. This is easy for me. I can do this all day, every day. I've been on a roll so far. So you might as well keep rolling with me. The sooner along you get on this program, the sooner you'll be able to see the world from not so much a conspiracy theorist perspective, but more so of a skeptic analyzer. Someone that sits there and says, okay, I see what you're giving me, but I have to look at what the reality is showing me. What's the behavior? What's being expressed in the third dimension? What is it that is being displayed in real time that I can tangibly grasp and say, okay, this is up, this is down, this is left, this is right. Choice is yours. I'm gonna keep rolling on. I've been doing what I gotta do. But you can tap in with me right here at the only channel giving information this good. I mean, so good. I'm able to look, listen. We're looking at videos that you think have nothing to do with what's going on, and it has everything to do with what's going on. Oh my gosh. I mean, from the music industry, W.E.F, presidential candidacy, politics. Oh, I'm showing you how to analyze the world around you, and then you can take this and pass it on to the next person. And you know what? Hit the Cash App. Donate. Send me a gift. It's much appreciated. Ciao.